Come sit beside.
Hey, what's up, guys? So today I'm gonna be talking about yo, what up, guys? So today we're gonna be talking about let's restart. No, get it together. Canon T5 no. Hey, what up, guys? I'm Eddie, and today we're gonna be talking about the camera I use to vlog with, since a lot of people have been curiously asking me, hey, what camera did you use in my previous vlog to shoot that B-roll and all that good stuff, all that cinematic stuff. A lot of people have been asking me about. So today we're gonna talk about my camera settings, what camera I use, how I use it, and what it's good to use for. So starting off with, I have the CineStyle build to it. I'm using a Joby Gorilla Pod. I got these when they were like $100. Now they've gone up in price. I just checked on Amazon and they go for $150. That's pretty hefty, and that's all because like Casey uses them. A lot of vloggers tend to use them. Ben Brown uses them. I personally went with the metal one just because it was like my new camera and I really wanted to be as careful as I could with it, and that's why I didn't opt with the plastic one. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's the same. I know a lot of people use it, but yeah, so I opted with the metal one. It cost me like $100. Do I recommend it? Yeah, I recommend it. Well, I use it daily for any video shoot. This is exactly what I take to go shoot. I use it, you can use it like a shoulder rig, kind of like this. Oh, and then to like grapple onto things, like this is like really flexible, so you could go up to like a tree and stick it on, or a couple of poles, and it'll like attach perfectly. A Canon T5i, it has a battery grip. I bought that additionally. Canon T5i, 18 megapixels. It shoots 1080 by 30 frames per second. It has face detection. It has quite good autofocus, depending what lens you use it with. My vlog lens is that one that you're looking through right now, so that's not on it, but if that was on it, it would just have like the lens head on it, and then 10 to 18. This is an 18 to 35. I mean 18 to 55. When I started off vlogging, I used this lens because I couldn't afford that one yet. This is actually a good lens to vlog with. You do need this though, because like if you try vlogging like this, it's too close. It'll be like literally like right here. Like this is a good focal length though. I mean 18 to 55, it goes like relatively from a good wide to a good zoom range. The lens I have on right now, the 10 to 18, is just really wide, and it just goes into like the widest this one goes to. I've been shooting with this for like 6 months, so it's been a good camera. I haven't like done crazy shit to it. I haven't like filmed in the rain or anything, because it's not weather sealed, which sucks. I mean, if it was weather, it's not like we get much rain in California. But I added the battery grip because not that the battery dies right away, but it looks cooler. Trust me, it looks cooler. And when I get hired, like when I started getting hired to do like photography and like video gigs, with the battery grip, people are like, oh shit, dude, what do you shoot on? Is that like a full frame camera? And I'm like, yeah, dude. Like, no, it's not. It just makes it look cool. It's not that the battery dies quick. The battery is actually fairly good. It lasts me, it could last you a good full day of vlogging, I want to say. I don't know like the correct terms, like how many hours or whatnot, but I just know it lasts you for vlogging. Unless you're vlogging like hardcore, like, oh, you go out and you're like vlogging everything, like 12-minute recordings and stuff, it won't last you. But with this battery grip, it does last you a long time. I shot a wedding recently. The camera uses them up at the same time, and so it takes a long time for them to die. I shot a whole wedding. I have 7 batteries. I have the original battery, which I don't use. So as I shot with this camera, I started to learn a couple of things. I started to learn what aperture is, shutter speed, white balancing. You start to learn all types of things. This is like the camera that like your dad, basically, you know how your dad had like a point and shoot or like his phone camera, and when he wants to be a rebel, you get these, but you don't get these to simply shoot automatic. If you get this and you want to shoot automatic with this, that's the biggest waste of your money you'll ever do, because these are to further expand your photography skills. So I got this, and like I got it because I was like, yeah, you know what, I want to be like Casey. I want to be walking around vlogging like this and whatnot, like, oh, vlogging's the shit. And like I went out, I copped this one up. I didn't know shit about it. As time went on, I started Googling it or YouTubing it, and I learned about aperture, shutter speed, like I had previously mentioned. So I learned about aperture, and then shutter speed, and then white balancing, and all that plays into effect with the camera and how your picture quality comes out. This is an 18 megapixel, like I said. 18 megapixels is good. From 18 to 24 is like regular for crop size sensor cameras. I know Micro Four Thirds are like 16 megapixels. The megapixels are okay. Like, I don't see a big difference between 18 to 24. I know a lot of people are like, oh no, 24 is like 6 more, and I'm like, oh, are you gonna be shooting them raw? I mean, if you're shooting them raw, there's a big difference then. Like, you gotta zoom in on the pixel and like edit them and like do a bunch of crazy edits. I started shooting JPEG and editing photos in JPEG, but in JPEG format, like, they eventually get ugly. There's a certain, you can edit to a certain point till it gets ugly. When I started shooting RAW, that's when I was like, holy shit, and like, you could do so much shit to it and like the image will stay crystal clear, and that's where the 18 megapixels comes into play. You can shoot JPEG 18 megapixels, but you can't edit it. It's like a 5 megabit file, and when you shoot RAW, they're like 30 megabit files, so there's more color and more stuff to play with. In terms of shutter speed, I think this goes up to 4,000. Like I said, as you like start getting into the camera, like, you'll start different features. Like, another feature I found for it was picture profiles. Since I'm more of a cinematographer / videographer than a photographer, I started playing around with the picture profiles, and I found out you could add CineStyle to this. So what CineStyle means is it's a picture profile that's relatively flat. So you lose contrast, you lose saturation, you lose sharpness, but all those things can be added in post. And so in my previous vlog, which I'll probably show right now, like, you get to add a color to it, and like, it's cool. It's kind of like the GH4 color profiles in a way. You can't edit these as much either, which kind of sucks. You could only edit it to a certain capacity, but it's still cool because you get to play around with it and you get a taste to how it is to like really color correct. Well, it didn't come with that. I actually added that profile, and that's actually the profile I shoot with now. That's basically it. That's how I shoot my vlogs with. This camera does not shoot slow-mo. My version of slow-mo is I shoot 720 at 60 frames per second, and I shoot my vlogs at 24 frames. So you can have it 50% or up to 60%, and like, it will look smooth, but your quality does like drop. Like, you're shooting at 720, and 720 compared to 1080 is a vast difference. Well, to me it is. So in 1080 you can shoot 24 frames and 30 frames, which is good for like, I shot a wedding all in 24 frames, and the slow-mo parts I would use 720 60 frames, but I did very little slow-mos in it. This is a video mic Go. Don't hate me if it's not plugged in. I didn't want to get the coil and like put it in and like connect it and stuff because I'm not even using it. It's $100. It came with the camera when I bought it. I bought the video creator kit. It's a fairly good mic. It's not the best, but what I do like about it is you don't need batteries to power it, and it is a big difference because like, I'll show you right now in the following clips like what a camera sounds like without a mic and with a mic. Big difference. And then this is also a directional mic, so you point in a direction and it'll just get like that sound. It doesn't get sound like around it. Then the lenses I did shoot like these scenes with are the 50mm 1.4, costs like $300, very expensive, but this one's worth it. You could also get the 1.8. To sum up what 1.8 and 1.4 means is that's the aperture, that's how wide the lens opens. So if you're shooting at like, for example, f11, you're shooting that closed, and when you shoot at 1.4, the lens opens up like this, letting in more light. So this lens is exceptional in low light. I used it for the wedding. I'll include clips here too, and it shot well. And then it gives that blurry like background. Like, dude, dropping it to 1.4 from 1.8, it's crazy. Like, I bought that lens because this photographer uses them with like fairy lights and like the bokeh, dreamy. Then I have the 10-18, which I'm currently shooting on right there, and that's just for wide shots. You can use it for landscape photography. I don't like landscape photography that much. That's a vlogging lens, so when you go vlogging, that's like the perfect lens for time lapses, for getting yourself like wide ass shots. To me, I think the camera's like an 8 out of 10. It's badass. Like, as my first camera, I loved it. Like, I still love it. I mean, the only thing that's dragging me away from it is 4K resolution. The Sony a6300 shoots 120 frames per second in 1080, and that's amazing because you could drop that down like 80%, I think. You'd be getting like super slow motion. So like, you go like this and like capture all that shit. And it doesn't shoot 4K, and a lot of people are right now shooting 4K and downscaling it to 1080 to get like this clean, sharp image. and that's the only thing that I dislike about it. But those cameras that do shoot 4K go for like $2,000 if you're talking the Sony A7S's, A7Rs. I mean, you can get a Panasonic G7, but those shoot superior 4K quality, but they suck at photos. And it's always good to have like a mix, that way you could do both. A lot of people complain about face detection for this. It worked perfectly for me, especially on a wide lens, since the f-stop's really high on those. It focuses on basically like everything, so you'll never be out of focus. But yeah, the only downside is it doesn't shoot 4K or slow-mo. Other than that, it's a sick-ass camera, 18 megapixels. It's a crop sensor, so when you get lenses like these, or any lenses, you gotta multiply it by 1.6, and that's the actual focal length of the camera. That's also a hassle. So like a full frame, when you see people with the red lenses and they're 24 to 70s, those are actual 24 to 70s. When you add that lens to this camera, you multiply it by 1.6. For example, this 50 millimeter on this camera is a 80 millimeter telephoto lens. Well, it acts like a telephoto lens, which is cool, but at the same time, like for indoor shots, I can't use that lens. Like if someone's like right there where the tripod's at, I could literally only get like your eye and your nose to come out in it. And that's where the 10 to 18 comes into play, or this 18 to 55. You could actually shoot indoors with these lenses. That's about it. That does it for this review. I mean, I hope you guys liked it. If you do want to get a camera for vlogging specifically, you guys could get any of the Canons, the T5i's and up. The 70D has crazy ass autofocus. That's a badass camera, but it costs like $1,000 still. This one cost me, like I said, it cost me like $750, the whole kit, and the kit was just this, the mic, the camera, this lens, the 18 to 55, and a memory card for $750. If you want something small because you don't like these gigantic ass things, you could get the A6, the A5000 is good for vlogging, shoots 1080. The A6000 shoots 1080 as well. The A6300 is a badass one, but that one doesn't come with the articulating screen. This one does. Oh, another thing that does suck is it doesn't have Wi-Fi. I mean, but the Wi-Fi thing, it's useful if you want to upload your photo right away to Instagram, but if you're shooting them raw, which you have to get into, unless you have Lightroom on your phone, and that's the CC version, the Creative Cloud version, you'll most likely end up coming to your house, and like editing them up, and then like Dropboxing them to your phone, and then you can upload them. It requires more work, but I mean, the Wi-Fi aspect, I'm just like, I don't need it, because whenever I do take photos, you're gonna want to edit them. Once you get into the habit of editing them like raw, you'll never be like, oh dude, I'm gonna upload this iPhone photo. No, you'll always want to edit your photos, I guarantee it. I'll leave you with this cool B-roll of the T5i.
Like I'm ready, 'cause it's a beautiful night.